Hello, welcome. This is Blockchain Bloom, the blockchain educator. I'm Attila Pink, and in today's video, I'm going to talk about a lot of important things because we have a lot of good news, we have some bad news, but Bitcoin is not moving anywhere. We're still around 67,000 US dollars. So the overall feeling on the market is still bearish. The fear and greed index is in extreme fear. However, we have actually new job data, which is much stronger than expected. Then we still don't have an agreement between the banks and the crypto companies, and now the White House has urged them to come up with some kind of agreement. We had a couple of days inflows into Bitcoin Spot ETF, but I'm also going to talk about that Binance completed their SAFU emergency fund converted to Bitcoin. So we're talking about 1 billion US dollar. And we also have BlackRock's token. It's available now on Uniswap. So BlackRock moved towards DeFi. That's also like a positive thing. And a lot of other things I'm going to talk about. But overall, we're still in this, kind of bearish feeling. But don't forget, every single day, I bring you the freshest cryptocurrency and blockchain news here on Blockchain Bloom in the form of short videos. So really the essence of news in less than 60 seconds. And once a week, I'm making this longer video when I really, get deeper into the market and check out what really happened through the week. So I would say let's start it. And if you like this kind of content, definitely subscribe and hit the like button. All right, okay, let's have a first look on the market, where we can see that basically Bitcoin is down 6% in a week, slightly up in a day. Ethereum about 7% down in a week, 1% up in the last 24 hours. And when we're looking at the one which is leading in the top 100 is Humanity Protocol with 13% on the daily. Aster is 14% up on the daily. PPN is 17% up. Why this is not on top, I don't know. Anyway, it's a bit messed up here. But we can see some moves right now. Also, we have some losers, MYX, 36% down, almost 50% down in a week, but then 24 hours, 36%. Layer 0, 7% down, Decred 3%. But now it's rather, this kind of sideways feeling. And then we're looking at Bitcoin on the weekly, we can see that we had this, big wick here. Of course, we had some recovery. We always have after a huge dump, but still, Bitcoin doesn't show any strength. Yeah, we're trying here, but really couldn't stay through the whole week above 69,000. So now, today, it's another try, as we can see, a little bit coming up, but we will see what's going to happen here. We're gonna again hit the wall with 69,000, and it works as a rejection, and then we're coming back. We have to be patient, but the whole market is just simply not strong enough. And actually, we have some positive news. When we're looking at actually the January job reports, they came out much stronger than expected, right, in the US. So the economy added 130,000 jobs, and the estimate was 66,000. So that's much higher. And also we see the unemployment rate fell to 4.3 from 4.4, and also the forecast said 4.4. So these are better. But, when we have a bear market, a bearish situation, nobody cares about the good news, to be honest with you. And, this is not that good that there is still not an agreement between banks and crypto firms. They had now on this week another meeting, but really the banks do not like this kind of high yield what crypto companies can give on stable coins, and that's the whole battle about basically. And now the White House urged them to come up with an agreement until the 1st of March. It would be very important to agree on the Clarity Act and the Crypto Market Structure Bill, because if it's not happening now in March, then it can push the, after the half-term things. And, that keeps the uncertainty on the market. But of course, they should come up with a deal which is good for both sides. And now the crypto firms don't like it too much, what the banks would like to push. When we're looking at inflows, outflows into Bitcoin Spot ETFs, we had on the 6th, the 9th, and 10th of February actually some inflows. And yesterday, on the 11th, we had again outflows. So a kind of mixed picture here. And when we're looking at the CPI data, that will come out tomorrow. And the forecast says 2.5. So the forecast hopes for a better result than what we had a month before. Will it happen? Well, we'll find out tomorrow. That can also move the market a little bit. And when we're looking at the big picture, then really Bitcoin is every single bear market. It's coming back to the 200-week moving average, and we almost touched it. We were like about 3% away from it when we were looking at this is the weekly. It's very, very important. And yeah. Now it's a bit weak, maybe they're coming up, but sooner or later we can go further down. And until the trend doesn't change, we're going to stay in this direction. And when you're looking at now, the fear and greed index today is at 8. But just a couple of days ago here, we were at 5. And when we're looking at this historically, we can see that during the Mt. crash, we were at 9. When we had the COVID crash, we were at a 9. At FTX crash, we went all the way down to 12. And now in 2026, now in February, we had a new record. Bitcoin is higher than ever before. And the extreme fear is around 5. But also historically, every single time we had these extreme fear levels, they were usually very good DC entry points when we're thinking in long term of Bitcoin price. Will this happen now? We will find out later, obviously. But around this 200-day moving average, I'm not saying if we are at the bottom, right? I believe we can go further down, but I don't know. However, if someone is DCing around these levels, or if we go further down to 60, under 60, 50 something, when we're looking in long term, and we believe that Bitcoin could be hundreds and thousands of US dollars, maybe some people say $500,000, $1 million US dollar in 10 years term, for example, then it doesn't sound bad if you accumulating some around these levels, around 60 something. But yeah, okay, we're going to see it, how it plays out. Right, next topic. Binance moved its SAFU emergency fund all to Bitcoin. So Binance basically announced it a couple of weeks ago that they would like to move their SAFU emergency fund to Bitcoin, and we're talking about $1 billion US dollar. And basically, they said it's going to take like 30 days. But actually it was completed in less than 2 weeks. So now what they're holding 15,000 Bitcoin worth of $1 billion US dollar at the average price 67,000 per coin. And they decided, because they believe this is much safer, and actually this is again not a bad entry price. And if Binance has decided around this level, this is what I'm saying, probably it's not for bad for DC. It doesn't mean that we cannot go lower, right? It's very, very important. So you do your own thing. It's not financial advice, but usually these levels around 200 week moving average, it's a good one. However, this bearish period can last for months from now on, and maybe we just start to recover, in Q3, for example. So you have to be ready for it, that it's not a sudden change. As you can see, since October, we started to go down, and around this beginning of October, I was talking about when it was a fake out for Bitcoin in Q4, it's dangerous, and I see a plateau there, and that was the reason why I DC'd out through October until end of October, beginning of November, and moved everything to stablecoin and just some part keep it in Bitcoin, no altcoins, because I believe that that was just the weak point. Bitcoin was going up since 2022, 2022, end of 2022, right? For years, it went up and it reached from 100 and, what was it, 15,600-ish. That was the bottom back then, and went all the way up to 126,000 US dollars. So it's a very nice performance for Bitcoin. Altcoins, yeah, I know, not that much. But when it started to be weak, I moved out, and this is what I communicated as well. And yeah, now we are already more than 4 months on the downtrend, all the way down. And it can just simply continue. So you have to wear it. But sooner or later, you know, always comes the change, the downtrend changing to an uptrend. When? I don't know exactly, but that's the reason why we're looking at the chart and do not care about the news, because as long as we have great news now, doesn't matter. Does it change anything? No. If we have good news, bad news, well, either way, we're still going up, or just a tiny little bit up or down. We're going down, but a tiny little bit up, maybe, for some good news, and then straight back to down. So until the trend is bearish, we are, I think, bearish. So this is how I believe. All right. Next topic, it's about BlackRock is moving towards DeFi. So BlackRock made its move towards DeFi as they listing on Uniswap, their US Treasury found token, which is, you know, tokenized, and it holds 2.2 billion US dollar will here on Uniswap. Because of that, Uniswap you know, token also went up. But again, this is great news when you're looking at this. This is the world's largest asset manager. They moving towards DeFi, Uniswap, all these kind of things. Usually this is a great thing. What happened to the price apart from Uni token? Not too much, right? So yeah, this is pretty much the same. And okay, now let's talk a little bit about historic yearly lows, because that's also something interesting, I believe. Right, so look at this one here. We have here the yearly lows since 2016. And it's very, very interesting, because even when we're looking at the worst case scenario every single year, Bitcoin price is continuously increasing. Look, since 2016 all the way to 2021, that was the low. And then we had the lower low in 2022. Since 2022, you know, again, going up, 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 up. And then now in this year, compared to last year, we have lower low again. So I don't know what will be the bottom. This was the, you know, so far the one around 6,000. But the bottom line is that as it was here, when we form a here low for the next couple of years, again, we can go higher. And when you take profit all the way up, when you know, DC in and out, then basically you can get some nice returns. And you have to be careful with altcoins, especially with altcoins, because that's a kind of danger zone. With Bitcoin, worst case scenario, okay, if you the whole thing stays in Bitcoin, then it came back every single time. When it dumped a couple of years later, it was a new all-time high. But you know, this is, I think, a great picture, because it shows very well when we're looking at the lows. Even the lows perform pretty well, and these were the peaks in those years. Okay, right. And then talking about the positivity, we have here again Tom Lee believing now V-shaped recovery. But to be honest with you guys, I don't know what you think about this, but you know, he's very much interested in Ethereum. His company Bitmain invested a lot of money in Ethereum, so he is about to be bullish. He cannot do anything else. And he was bullish in October, November, December, always saying, there's the bottom, V-shaped recovery. We haven't seen it yet. But if he keeps saying it for month and month and month, sooner or later, yes, it will come. And guess what? Then they will say, oh yeah, Tom Lee, he just said it, it's going to V-shaped recovery. This is what I'm talking about. Yeah, but you know, what's that? Ethereum was coming down heavily from 5,000-ish, kinda, almost, all the way down to, I don't know what it was, 1,600-700-ish. And it's very important that you not stay in it until it goes down. And yeah, sooner or later the V-shaped recovery will come, but you know, you just cannot count on these kind of things. In long-term perspective, yes, he could be right, but yeah, I think it's much more important to watch the chart. And here is another interesting interview. This one is with Michael Saylor, and well, his smile is not that honest anymore, to be honest with you. Listen to this one.
If Bitcoin falls 90% for the next 4 years, we'll refinance the debt.
Refinance where, Michael?
We'll just roll it forward. I mean, again.
But you think banks would lend to you at that point?
Yeah, because the volatility of Bitcoin is such that there's always going to be value. Look, you're at 68,000 right now. Literally has to fall to 8,000. Then we just refinance the debt. If you think it's going to zero, then we'll deal with that. But I don't think it's going to zero, and I don't think it's going to 8,000 either. But the credit risk is de minimis at this point.
So very interesting, right? He's just really pushing in one direction. And well, when he says if it's going to zero, we deal with it. How are they going to deal? They're going to probably bankrupt at that point. They have all their money in Bitcoin. So yes, what he's saying that maybe it's not, you know, the risk is not that high that it goes down to 8,000 US dollar or actually zero. It's fine, but he's doing here a risky thing, to be honest with you. And some people probably understand his strategy much better and believe in the strategy. But overall, it's a risky bet, because if you just think about their average price, they accumulate in Bitcoin since 2020 heavily, and their average price, it's lower than the present price. So yeah, there were times when they were doing extremely well, when strategies stock went up like crazy, doing better than Bitcoin. But for me, I would rather go with Bitcoin than with strategy. But you know, that's a different kind of thing. It's my personal opinion. And oh, by the way, guys, I have a link for you for Bybit. It's a very good deal because you receiving 130 USDC airdrop, basically 30 USDC here, and then when you register with the link, and don't forget Bybit.eu is fully MiCA regulated, so it has the license. That's very, very important now in the EU. And also then you do different kind of tasks, you know, KYC, deposit money, and all these kind of things, and then you can pick up further you know, money all the way up to 130 USDC for free, kind of, and then you have an exchange what you can use. So the link it's just down here. And yeah, I believe that's it for today. I wanted to have this weekly summary. Nothing special is right now happening. We're still in this kind of bearish phase, and we have to live with it. But don't forget, sooner or later the change is coming. So at some point, Tom Lee going to be right saying that there is a V-shaped recovery. When? This is what we don't know, but I'm not jumping in and you know, buying the folding knife, because I don't see any point to do that. When the trend is changing and it looks that we're going to turn, that will be the point I would like to really jump in. Have I done some DCA into Bitcoin around this 60,000-ish level? Yes, I have, because we were around this 200 weekly moving average. But it doesn't mean for me that now all in, especially not into altcoins. But this is just my way to do it. You can decide it for yourself. And don't forget, hit the like button if you like this kind of content, and subscribe to this YouTube channel, because every single day you're getting this sharp, fresh, short videos, really the essence of the news in 60 seconds. So it keeps you up to date. And also this weekly video, what you have just watched right now. See you in the next one. Have a good one. Bye-bye.